All right. Well, we just got our first real momentum stock here in like 2 weeks. I didn't trade it very well, but I am green on it, which is good. A little shy of the daily goal. Well, I guess it depends on what my daily goal is. I sort of had to adjust the daily goal a little bit during this cold stretch that we've had for the last 2 weeks. But let's talk about GFAI. So GFAI currently is up 115%. Hit a high of $18, and that was pretty impressive. My first trade on it was at $9.20. I tried to buy at $8.75, and I did not get filled on the order. So when it first popped up here, it came up on our scans early this morning. Really wasn't looking like we had much of a watch list this morning. I mean, the watch list was pretty dead. Gap scanners weren't that exciting. If we look at the gap scans here, well, I can pull up. All right, so top gappers. This is our gap scan as of this morning. INDO, BRN. These are all energy stocks. GFAI was on the list, but it was way low. And it wasn't really that interesting this morning. I didn't even look at it. There was no real reason to look at it. It didn't have much volume. There was nothing going on. But then all of a sudden, at the open, it popped up. And you know what I thought when I first saw it pop up? I thought, all right, this is going to run into volume weighted average price. So I was thinking this looks like that's it. It's dead. But it actually got just above VWAP. So it comes up here and it's sort of holding like just barely above VWAP. And then all of a sudden it starts to pull away. And where I thought it was going to fade and be done, in this candle here, some volume came in and I tried to get in on that candle. I did not get filled. And I was like, shoot. So then it breaks over 9. And I was like, wow, okay, here we go. And as it broke through 9.20, I got in with a stop at $9. All right, so first entry is at 9.20, stop is at 9. And it went up to 9.58 and halted up. So I took most of my profit off the table. It resumed and it sold off back to 9, which initially I thought, okay, this is bearish. It's selling off back to 9. But on the other hand, I thought, for anyone that shorted up against VWAP, they're still red on it here at 9. And what ended up happening is we got this kind of slow curl back up right here. And then it pulled back and it came back up again. And what I saw in the 1 minute was a series of topping tails. So on the 1 minute, and it's great to have something to talk about because, we really just haven't had much to discuss in the last 2 weeks because the market's been so slow. So this hit a high here, but big red candle. So a high volume red candle, higher volume than the green candle going up. I was like, I don't know, that's not great. Maybe just be grateful for what you made on it. Don't overstay your welcome, whatever. Ends up, and so by the way, my P&L is $2,786.66. My daily goal has been traditionally $5,000 a day, but in this market, realistically, $1,500 a day, $1,000 is great. So you could say I'm over my goal based on that. Anyway, so it sells off, but then right up here, in addition to having this red candle, you've got these topping tail candles. And so this kind of creates a situation where I'm thinking, all right, what's market sentiment? Generally speaking, market sentiment for the last couple of weeks has been very bearish. Stocks haven't been holding up. Now you've got a stock that has a red candle here with high volume, and it tried to come back to 950. You've got two topping tails. So I'm thinking, no, this is just, it's too risky here. It's not safe. Nah, I don't think so. But it comes back up here. And right here, as it came back up, I thought, what's probably going to happen? It's probably going to hit 955 and then flush. I don't know if it's going to go down that far, but it's probably going to hit this level and it's going to drop. And so I was surprised that it went up to 1023 and halted up. I was like, I didn't see that coming. That's awesome. That's great to see. So it's now halted up at 1023 and it starts showing a 950 resumption. And I'm like, 950 resumption? It's halting up. It's showing a low resumption. What the heck? What is this game? What is going on here? Why are we seeing this? So it ends up resuming a little lower. It rips through up to 11. And I just thought, I don't know. This is weird. I don't know. And the problem here was that now we were seeing bigger spreads. So, the ask would be like, 1190, 1098, but the bid would be 1072. So you've got, 25-cent spread. And I was like, I can't get in here and punch it for 11. I'm going to be down 25 cents on the bid right away. I can't do it. The risk is too high. And we've already got, 6 green candles in a row. So it ends up extending a little higher, and then it flushes down again. So I'm thinking, okay, here we go. This is similar to what it did before. Comes back up a couple of dojis, and I say, you know what? This looks like it's going to be a long over $20.18. And sure enough, it breaks 2018. But I didn't take that trade. I hesitated. I was like, oh, man, I don't know. Because it had dropped here down to 11.58, and I thought, you know what? You're up $2,000. Just stop. Just don't push it. Don't push it. Just be grateful you're green. So anyways, it goes there up to 13.21. And I'm thinking, all right, well, boy, if someone was short here, where do they stop out? Goes up to 14. Goes up to 15. It halts up here at 14.53, and it shows immediately a 13.50 resumption. A low resumption again. That level climbs back up, and by the time it resumes, it opens and squeezes higher. So I ended up getting in up here on a micro pullback at 16, I think it was 16.50. It goes up here to a high of 17.50 up to 18. Ended up making about $500 on that trade with smaller size. That put me from 2,200 up to 2,800. I then took a dip trade with 500 shares and lost about 100 on that with 500 shares. Yeah, so small size, not a big deal. Comes back up, and right here, I thought again, 16.22 if it breaks this level. But, I don't know. I don't want to push it. I just don't want to push it. I thought 200 moving average here, we're going to see resistance. So we actually got through that level, which surprised me. It is holding up, but it doesn't feel like it has good reason to be holding up. This gets into having a bias and this and that. Anyways, I for sure left money on the table. And every day you're doing one of two things. You're leaving money on the table, you're giving back profit. I saw one student mention, you know what, guys, I'm starting to get FOMO. I'm green. I think I'm going to shut it down and walk away. And I think that's awesome. That's very good self-awareness. Because you know what? You don't want to be the person who markets in with 5,000 shares at the top and a second later you're down, 10 grand. It's just not worth it. So what I sometimes find is that when we've had a real long cold stretch, when a stock starts to pop up, I don't usually trade it super well because I'm still kind of like a little cautious. But then the next one and the next one and the next one, I start to jump on a little faster. I start to be a little more aggressive. And then that's when we can start to go into a hot cycle. I don't know if that's going to happen, but seeing a stock go up 130% is great. It's holding right now. We could look at, see if they have a S3 shelf registration. So, right. So let's look at the chart again on this for a second. So all-time highs, all-time, way, way up here. Wow. It's like almost $200 a share. Well, looks like they did a split, right? So they had to do a split. It was a 40-to-1 split. So it IPO'd and then just sold off hard. So, wow. And their last financial filing was July. It was for the year, it was for end of 2021. So that's a foreign company. So really behind on seeing what their financials look like. It makes you wonder a little bit what the condition of the company is today. This is 2020, this is 2021. A lot has changed. I mean, just in terms of the marketplace in the last 12, 13, 14, 15 months. So, yeah, I don't know. I would wonder. This isn't something I would be swing trading to the long side. I would not be holding this. I'm happy to day trade it, take some quick trades, get in, get out. But it certainly does seem like could be some risk on it. It's not very clear. Let's see what we had here. Right. Yeah, okay. So, I don't know. We'll see what it does, but I think we probably got, I think I left some money on the table for sure. but it's better than giving back profit. So green day is good. And we'll just have to see if this becomes a trend and we start to see momentum in other names. The S&P 500 pulling back a little bit right now, but overall, nice move. Q1 green. So from January 1st right here, finished Q1 here. So that's nice, from about 380 on the S&P up to almost 410. So, 30 points. That's not bad. That's like 8%. That's pretty good. And then Q4 last year from October 1st through December, was green. Of course, we started by, going a little red and, let's see, it was green, but only a bit. So we finished going a little bit red and then we came back up, and then we had this regional banking situation here. Market seems to be shrugging that off a bit. So, overall, market's coming into some interesting levels. I was kind of watching this ascending support trend line right in here. Something like that. And then we had this descending one up here. Right, so kind of held above that. So now we're dealing more with pivot levels. So we've got pivot around this area. My thing is I use my drawing tool for the same button as my, so right around there, we've got a pivot, another pivot, a little further up. So, there's some levels here, all-time highs on the S&P, regular trading hours, not pre-market. So, you start to kind of get this dialed in, you realize that, of course, inflation is the big question mark, but I don't like that line. I got to tighten that up a little bit. I don't know what this year is going to give us, but we're one quarter in, a couple few months of small gains, relatively speaking, coming back up. So next pivot that we're closest to is the high right here. I just kind of look at this as the rising tide that lifts all ships, just the general nature of the sentiment in the economy. When you've got, general pessimism, it's going to weigh on small cap companies, and that's going to hurt them. You've got strength and optimism, that's going to help small cap companies. It's going to help, investment in those small cap companies, and it's going to keep them going. So right now we're in a period where certainly a lot of small cap companies have struggled. We're going to see offerings. That's going to be common. They're going to need cash. That's part of what Silicon Valley Bank struggled with. These small cap companies needing cash, withdraw cash, not getting a lot of cash infusions right now. So we are in a little bit of a difficult spot, but I'm grateful to start the month here of April with a green day. Even if it's a small green day, relatively speaking, it's a good day. And relative to the last 2 weeks, it's a great day. Relative to the last 2 years, it's a terribly slow day. But it is green, and I'm happy for that. So let's see what the week is going to give us. If we start seeing things moving a little faster and pulling away, happy to step up to the plate. If it gets choppy again, I'm happy to sit back and be on the sidelines. My goal for the month, I'd like to be at 40,000 in profit. That's $10,000 a week. So in theory, I could do that in 4 good trades this month. Now, I'd have to be willing to step up to the plate a little bit more than I did today, but, 4 to 5 good trades could certainly put a really nice dent in my goal on the month. What is going to hurt me is if I have days like I had a few last month where I started over trading low quality setups and digging myself a hole. And then, there's not a lot of opportunity to recover when it's slow. So I'm definitely aware of this challenge in the market right now for small cap traders. There's just a sort of inherent slowness, and that started with the banking crisis. And until we kind of get a sector that really starts to pick up, it's going to be probably a little slow. So this is the time to be patient. Someone said earlier, being patient is not just about waiting. It's also about having a good attitude while you wait. I said, I'd never heard that definition before. But it's also not a bad idea to try to have a good attitude. We're going to be sitting here either way. So, if you want to sit here and be sour and be in a bad mood, it's your right to do that. But, if you could try to keep your head up and be optimistic and use this as a time to study, that's also not bad either. So, open up the simulator, practice a little bit in the simulator, some of those riskier setups. Today was definitely an opportunity to gain some experience. And, I think it makes sense to try to at least make the most of these windows. NOGN moving up. Now, this is one of my struggles with these. Very, very light volume. So it's up 126%. GFAI has 14 million shares of volume. NOGN has only 700,000 shares of volume. And, a lot of that volume has just come in the last 2 minutes. So these are tough. You had one halt up, two halts up, it opens higher, it dips. Now it's going a little bit higher. Unfortunately, these ones, this is a liquidity problem. You see the move and you're like, son of a gun, I could have made 10,000 bucks on that. And you could have, but it's hard to get filled. When you don't have a lot of volume, it can be hard to get filled. So unfortunately, that one's going to have to go without me. And but maybe this is one of those days where you see a few of these sympathy momentum stocks pop up and traders start to jump on them. Maybe, could be, but be careful. Don't overstay your welcome. If you're green, be grateful and live to trade another day. That's what I'm going to do. Right now, this is interesting. So NOGN was just showing a 581 resumption, halted at 671 and then showing 580, right? So, seeing kind of stuff like that, I don't know, something weird. Right now, it's showing a $6 resumption, 70 cents lower. I sort of think that there's something sketchy going on with some of these. I don't know. I'm not sure. Seems like market makers are doing something weird, like trying to flush out traders or something. I don't know, something weird. So anyways, when I start seeing that also makes me a little hesitant. All right, well, that's it for me. I'm grateful to be able to do a recap and have something actually worthy of trading. Last week I took a total of, I traded only 2 days last week. It was a green, but only two trading days. Traded, I think, 4 or 5 stocks. The week before, I took only 3 trades. So I've taken probably a total of 6 or 8, 10 trades. Probably not even 10. Not even 10 trades in the last week, not including today. Today I got a few trades, but the last 2 weeks have been really slow. But you know what? That's part of trading. I could do another episode on that this week. I'll talk about market cycles. But you know what I'm actually going to do is tomorrow I'm going to teach a class on YouTube. And the topic of the class is going to be scaling. So I had said I would do this. We already have a section of the Warrior Pro class on scaling, but I'm going to teach a class on YouTube on scaling. So that's going to be coming tomorrow. And let me just confirm the time. I just have to open up my calendar here. I set the time, but I just don't want to say the wrong time. There were 2 possible times I was going to choose. Let me just check. Let's see. So tomorrow, the class on scaling is going to be at the hour. It's going to be the top of the hour. It's going to be a big hour. One of the greatest hours, best hours of 11 a.m. So that'll be 11 a.m. tomorrow. All right, so 11 a.m. tomorrow, I'll teach that class on YouTube on scaling. Scaling in and scaling out. It's going to be a huge hour. So that'll be tomorrow at 11 a.m. And yeah, the comment that I'm just going to make on cycles, a lot of traders, Ross, God, have you ever seen it this slow? I'll tell you guys, when it's slow, you feel like it's never going to get hot again. When it's hot, it feels like it's never going to get cold again. That's, I guess, part of the psychology of trading. When it gets cold, it gets scary because you're like, oh my God, is the market turned off? Is it never going to turn on again? It's our livelihood, so we get a little nervous. I understand where that comes from. But I've been trading for a really long time. I've been trading momentum for my entire career, more or less. I mean, when I first started, I was doing some, I guess, just, shooting from the hip, whatever. But But once I got dialed in on strategy, I've been a momentum trader. My career as a profitable trader has been as a momentum trader, and I've been doing this for a really long time. I can't believe I've been doing it as long as I've been doing it. So, I've seen hot cycles, I've seen cold cycles, and this cold cycle does. These last 2 weeks have felt different for me because I've had so many no trade days, but that's because I made the conscientious decision that I was not willing to trade low quality setups. Whereas in the past, I was trading just whatever was moving. And in the past, during a bad week, I would just lose money. Whereas last week, I only took 3 or 4 trades. I made money. I didn't hit my weekly goal, but I was green. I think I was green 2,500 last week. Weekly goal was 10,000. So okay. A little disappointing. That's not really where I wanted to be, I guess. But hey, it's a lot better than being down 10 grand. So my choice to just put myself on the sidelines was a conscientious choice that I made because I did not want to spin my wheels. I didn't want to dig myself a hole, generate commissions, get myself frustrated. And I don't think emotionally I've ever been in a place where I've been able to do that before. So this was a different slow period for me because of my own ability to be disciplined and just say, nope, I'm just going to sit on the sidelines. And that maybe made it feel slower because I had no trade days, which do feel very slow. But anyways, so, that was, the last 2 weeks. So yes, it's felt slow. The regional banking crisis has definitely weighed on the market, but I'm hoping that that's a little bit behind us. And nice on NOGN, again, you certainly could have taken trades on here. We just crossed over 1 million shares of volume. Now we're up 200%, going up to $9. I don't know. I struggle with these when it's really light volume because you see it, but I don't know. So anyways, even just 2,000 shares, which you certainly could have taken, it's $2 a share. So hindsight's 2020. If you're green, be grateful for that. Don't overstay your welcome. Just be grateful and live to trade another day. And you know what? Today seems like it's heating up a little bit, but also just like that, $1 a share drop, false halt. So easy come, easy go. That's trading. The people who are not grateful are the people who end up giving back profits. So try to be grateful. Try to keep some of that profit in your pocket and just chip away on those base hit days. I think that's the best way to do it. Long term, yeah, you're going to miss some of the thrill and glory of hitting some big wins, but this is really about a marathon, being consistent. So anyways, that's it for me. A bit of a longer recap, and reminder as always that trading is risky and my results are not typical. So make sure you take it slow, practice in a simulator before you put real money on the line. And I'll see you guys back here tomorrow morning. Warrior members, I'll be streaming course bright and early, and I'll be on YouTube for the class at 11 a.m.